It's train time, starting now, right after this small intro.
In compliance with COPA, this video is not for children under the age of 14. Viewer discretion is advised. Sponsored by Canadian Model Railroad.ca and by donations from patrons like you. Further support provided by miniprint.ca. Make your layout come alive with the 3D creation of miniprint.ca. And now on with the show with your hosts, Peter and Joe.
Well, what time it is? It's train time, episode number 12. As you notice, I'm by myself today. My co-host Peter is not here to complement this show. We are under a lockdown because of COVID-19. And lockdown more than likely will extend well into January, so episode 13 might be under the same format. You have probably realized that we have a new logo in the introduction of the video, but we also have a new emails where you can reach CMR Production at www.cmrproductions2017@gmail.com. We'd like to extend to you folks or wishes for the holidays from the CMR Production and its crew, and also from CMR Model Railroad and its crew, and all the people who have been associated with us through the last years of production. So have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's, and we wish you to stay safe, wash your hands, wear your mask, do self-distancing, and stay home, and let's take care of each other. In this show, we have the Canadian Model Railroad New Yards video to show you. We got how the train's wheels are made, not at the mill, but at the forge. And we got a photo of the months, the view from above. And we'll have a visit to the Manitoba, Minnesota Subdivision's layout of John Longhurst that has now been demolished. Also, we have the answer to the mystery Loco question that we had in the previous episode. So we will close the show with the diesel depot of Manuel Mercado from Portugal. So without waiting, let's go to the first segment, segment 1, the Canadian Model Railroad.
Well,
New
today
Yard.
we brought you upstairs in CMR layout to show you the new yards that we have put together. So we're starting with the east part of the yards, where we see here the double switch that is there, and the first one in here is line number 1, which you can call maybe the CN line, and then line number 2, which is the CP line. As you come into the yards, you have a spur in here that goes to the store for the yards. The track ending in here is the leads for the classification yards. So you got number 2 that is there, and you got number 1 that is there, and this is the arrival departures for line number 2 that is connecting now to number 2 main. As you go along, those building is for somewhere else on the layout, but as you come in here, this here is the tracks for number 1. So the leads that we see in here, where you got the switcher, come in here, and everything in between number 2 and line number 1 is all the yards, and that is independent of the 2. So we don't have a main lines which is a dual main lines. We got 2 independent main line, 1 CP and 1 CN. So all the classifications take care in between those tracks here. This here is arrival departure I'm pointing at for line number 2, and in here this is the arrival departures for line number 1. The locomotive that you're seeing right now in there is on main 1. So the classification yard is all in here. The locomotive that you're seeing there is on the siding, the other side of main 2, and it's before the spurs for the maintenance of ways shops that is there. So everything on the other side of that train is for the maintenance of ways. The maintenance of ways keep on going, which is this track in here right up to the end, and the track I'm pointing at right now, that is what bring the fuel cars to the tanks that you will see a little later. Now all the tracks of the classification in here are on kind of a little bit of diagonal depending on the length, and this track in here, which is right beside the arrival departures from main 2, is our scale tracks. Now that ladders that you see in here that goes from the arrival departures of main 2 to the arrival departures of main 1 is the leads for the diesel shop and the engine maintenance. Behind you see the fuel tanks that bring the fuel for the engine. Now in here you have many different connections that you can see, and those are what is related to the short lines that goes to Gene Coves and the eastern part. So this little 4-axle, because only 4-axle will go into the short lines, is waiting to be able to get into the yards through main 1 and then connect to the arrival departures, and then can go into the yard itself in here. In the back here is the car shop, and the car shop is where some works are done on the cars and so on, and the line right behind it is for locomotives ready to go or in storage, or it can be used as a caboose tracks if you're using caboose. This line in here is for locomotive ready to go. Then we got the control towers where the dispatcher is, which direct all the traffics for the train. Now the locomotive that you see in here is going right now into the diversions to get into the arrival and departures of main 2. Main 2 is right behind in here, and this locomotives will be doing the same and going into the arrival and departure of main 1. Main 1 is here. So in here we have 3 different tracks that goes to another building, which is the engine buildings where you do all the repair, and then this part in here is the spray booth that you have seen on one of our episodes, and this here is for all the repair as far as body shop is concerned in regard to that. This here is a double switch also, where the locomotive, when they go out, they can change which main they have to be on. And this here is what goes to the short line, and one siding flows to the yards. So overall, that's the way we redone the yards for the CMR, where now the two main tracks have been isolated from one another, one on each side, and everything regarding the trains as far as the yards for the maintenance and for the classifications have been put in the middle. So that way it's an easier way to get in and to get out of the yards when your trains are ready to go. So I hope you enjoy this little update in regard to the CMR Main Yards, which is located in Montreal on our layouts, and some more video of some more change that we have done on the CMR would be available soon. I must add to this video that you can see right now that is the power management, the whole layout of the CMR, and so you have the main power supplies, and then you have the DCS 210, followed by the DB220 twice, and the DB150. Over top of it is all PSX1s for each and every district that goes from here. More power management circuit breaker like the PSX1s will be installed at different places also in the layout, such as the forestry and the steel mill. Right over top of it, we have explored the line 1 and line 2. This line that you're seeing presently was the old access to the short line going beside the scene of the Maxwell house that you have seen on some other video. This would be converted in an abandoned line, and where the tunnel would be blocked. So the yard in itself, what I forgot to mention, is 36 feet long from the start of the yard on the east side to the outside of the yards on the west side. So as you can see, there's a lot of room in here. You can park a lot of cars, and it's especially made for operation. The white that you see in there with the building that don't belong there is the west mount, and on the other side of the layout, totally at the other end, which is hard to see right now, is exactly the same thing happening where you got the Mount Royal that is there. In between, the backdrop will be redone with the scene of Montreal view from the heights of the observatory on Boat Mountain. So hope you enjoyed this video, and hope that you get some ideas for your own layouts, and thank you for watching.
That was certainly interesting, there's no doubt about it. We have changed the whole system for the yards upstairs, as you have seen in this video. Now, after a short commercial, we'll be back with segment 2, how the train wheels are made at the forge.
Ever wanted to take a nostalgic trip back to the steam era? Through the Window of a Train is the book for you. Or go back into history with the Memory of the Moonlight specials. Through the Window of a Train for $19.95, or Memory of the Moonlight specials for $21.95, or 4 limited time offers. You can get both books signed for only $39.95 plus shipping. Order now. The process of manufacturing railway wheels at SMS Group. First, the steel billet is cut by huge circular saw. The steel part are taken to the oven to be heated. The rotary kiln is 23 meters in diameters. In a production capacity of 40 tons per hour. The parts are molded on 2 hydraulic presses. The first press is of 9,000 ton and the second one 5,000 ton. After each pressing, the mold is cool. The still hot parts is taken to the hot furnace roller. There are 13 axes for computer control laminations. One wheel productions for every capacity of 59 seconds. In the press, the center hole of the wheel is made. Then the wheel goes for inspection and quality control phase. Now it is time for the heat treatment line tampering. The new railway wheels heat treatment lines. It is the process of heating and cooling the metal to ensure hardness. Now the train wheels goes to the finish on the CNC rotors. Now it is time to manufacture and finish the train wheels axle. Strict inspection of the parts to ensure the quality. Then it's time for the wheel assembly to the axle. These are wheel and axle for high-speed applications, such as locomotive, passenger trains, trams, and subways. Here we see the wheels already assembled with the brake systems. An anti-rust paint is applied. Here we see the gear forging process. After each forging, the mold is cooled. This gear is used at the end of the axle of the railway wheels. We hope that this video was somewhat instructive to the viewer.
And now it's time for the photo of the month. And thank you to all the people who send us pictures and short video so to complement our show. So let's go to the photo of the month. Well, thank you to all the people that have sent pictures or have contributed to this segment of our show by posting their pictures or short video on our Facebook page, Canadian Model Railroad. If you see what is rolling right now above, that's mean you are at the right place. So I encourage you to keep us sending us some pictures, so that we can feature them in these clips. Next is a view from above, courtesy of Dan Shettles, so that we can get some idea about modeling, but in a view from above. These videos are certainly of our first quality videos and very well done. Thank you, Dan. Don't forget to make your layout come alive with the mini print figures from Bernard Helens, be it the animal collections, the water collections, or the air collections. Now, Bernard has added to his many 3D print crews, yard crews, locomotive crews, in different pose, moderns, late 70s or that type of thing. So feel free to go and visit the webpage of Miniprint at www.miniprint.ca, and feel free also to join the Miniprint Club month, where you will receive a package worth of $50 of figures every month. You can take a 1-month subscription, a 6-month, or a 12-month subscription. It's your choice. And remember that the quality is number one, and it will make your layout come alive. Now, many years ago, I had the chance and the honor in some ways to visit the Manitoba, Minnesota subdivision layout of John Longhurst here in Winnipeg. This layout was marvelously well done. Now, John, being empty nester now, must make the decision on downsizing, so he took down this marvelous layout. Regardless, many videos have been rolled out of this layout, and so let's have a view, a small clips of portions of the Manitoba, Minnesota subdivisions. I sure hope that you enjoyed that clip as much as I did, because that layout was very, very special. And I thank John to give us the permission to use his videos so that we can feature them in our show. The long-awaited response to the mystery locomotives, excuse me if I take notes on that, I must thank three people in particular, one being Ivan Hall, the second Aikens Nice 2013 Railways, and thirdly Lorraine Martin LaRoche, my wife, who had made research and came out with the answer in regards of that locomotive, the TP56, that is used in Selkirk mill. This engine uses a Cat 400 horsepower, turbocharged Tier 4, and having options to have a Cat 600 or 800 Tier 4. It weighs 160,000 pounds. It's a 3-axle single trucks from EMD SD40s. The 400 produce 56,000 pounds of traction power, but when you go to the 600 or the 800 models of the TP56, you will increase the maximal traction power of 70,000 pounds. 300 gallons, it doesn't say if it's American or Canadian, fuel tanks, and when idling, it consumes only 0.5 gallons an hour, which make this specific locomotives very economical. The length is 33 feet and 8 inch, with a width of 10 feet and 3 inch, and the height is 14 feet and 2 inch. The wheelbase is 105.5 inches. The wheels are 40 inch in diameter. The maximum speed of that locomotive is 25 miles per hour. It's manufactured by Tractive Power Corporations, where their head office is in North Vancouver, BC, Canada, and they have a Canadian plants for assembly in Kamloops, BC, Canada. They partner with an American partner named Curie Rail Service in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, USA, as the second plant. The first TP56 was produced off the assembly line in 2015. So thank you for these 3 people who have brought to us the answer to the mystery of that locomotives. Let's go to Manuel Mercado and his diesel depot assembly. Well, thank you, Manuels, for that segment, and folks, you're probably in the same positions that we are here. You're probably in a lockdown. A lockdown has some positive side, and especially for the model railroader, because we can spend more time with our hobby. We can achieve some project that were on the shelves for quite some time that now we can get back to, and we can watch a lot of video too. So this Christmas for us here in Manitoba would be much more different than any other Christmas before. The traditional Christmas will not happen. There's no gathering of any kind that will take place. But let's look at the positive side, where it's probably better that way if we can save the life of somebody else. So, folks, this time for Christmas this year's, we wish you a very happy Christmas no matter what. Stay safe. Wash your hands, wear your mask, practice self-distancing, stay home, don't gather, and make yourself at arms, and let's take care of each other. On that note, we'll see you in episode 13 in January of 2021, and thank you for watching.